What's going on, guys? Welcome on in for a trade recap. We made $284 trading Bitcoin today. Cool. This is actually a day trade, but it was on the 1 hour time frame, and we entered this one on the live stream live, and we made about a 1.74R on the trade, which was kind of cool. It was a 1 hour time frame bull flag. Here's the trade, or I guess I'll zoom in to the 1 hour. Here is the trade on the 1 hour. We broke out of this level, pushed up to my target, and that's the deal. I want to dive deeper into this because I was looking at it. I got an alert for this morning. I was on my morning walk, and I was like, oh, shoot, we're popping up. I would be on my morning run, but unfortunately, ever since I ran 50 miles in the freaking desert, my knee has kind of been acting up. So whenever I try to run, it kind of like starts, I get some pain in like the outside of the knee. I think it might have to do with the IT band. I don't know. Either way, I've just kind of... I go once a week to test out my running, like jogging, kind of like, a couple miles. And usually, or the past couple weeks, it has not gone very well. So I just stop it, back off. But I did some sprints the other day. Now 2 times in a row, 2 weeks in a row on Saturday. And that felt totally fine. No issue. So it's weird. It's just like the repetitive concrete jogging, I guess, is not going well. So I've been going for walks. And when I go off the walks, I have to say, I can't tell you how good, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but it's the Trump weave. If you watch the podcast with Rogan, it's the weave. I'm just doing a little weave, right? We'll bring it back. No, I can't tell you how beneficial that has been for my mental health and for my creativity. I honestly don't even know how to describe it, but I feel so much more energized. I feel like I have so many more thoughts and ideas and meaningful things that I could do and different insights that I can take to different things. Which has been awesome. So I love those morning walks. I walk for like an hour usually, sometimes more, sometimes less, depends. Change the route up. I usually try to go before the sun rises, and then by the time I finish my walk, the sun is like coming up, which is a beautiful time of the day. So I'm on the morning walk, and I get the alert that Bitcoin's breaking out because I woke up this morning, and I just so happened to wake up this morning and see this, and I was like, oh, I was taking a, and I just, pull up the charts sometimes because I got nothing else to do. And I'm like, well, let's take a peek at how the charts are looking here. And I see, because I know Bitcoin last night was kind of making some moves. Is it still going? I'm like, oh, it still is. And we kind of had this little pop where I drew this line. Okay. And we hadn't had this candle yet. We were kind of somewhere in here. And I said, okay, well, we break that. Could be a good trade for today. So, when you take those morning shits and, you have those really good thoughts sometimes, just like a shower, the shower thoughts. Don't sometimes, let's say I didn't do that. Maybe I would never have noticed that setup. So it's sometimes, it's a good thing. So I see this and then I go for the walk. I see it kind of breaking out. I'm like, okay, we're about an hour and a half until market open. Let's just kind of leave this alone. I don't want to, fight this guy. I don't want to play that game just yet. We'll wait till the open. So ends up happening. We come back, we open up on the live stream this morning, which, I'll be honest, the incentive to continue to do them is not that high. They just, I enjoy them. It's just, I think I would enjoy more activity in them. And I know I'm boring as shit. I know I am. That's why. But I'm not going to do some fucking dumbass brain rot bullshit type stuff just to keep engagement or whatever. So I understand that is the piece. And I'm not going to be full porting fucking prop firm accounts to get views. I don't do that shit. I don't want to do that shit. I don't give a fuck about that stuff. I think it's stupid. So I know the backside of that would be, yeah, no one cares. And I get that. So, it's on me to decide what I want to do on that. But to those of you who do come on the live streams, you guys are awesome. It's just that sometimes it's super like boring. It's like super boring. And I'm like, so I kind of dip out early or whatever. But we get on so you can go back and watch it because it happened live on the live stream. So you can literally go back, see the entry, all that stuff. So I get in and we kind of have like a 4 hour just kind of push up and we pretty much go right to the target. A little bit of a drawdown right here, right to the target. And that's it. I do have an open position on Bitcoin as well that I took last night on the bigger time frames on the weekly, which I guess I should talk about now as well. So here's the bigger picture. I'll give it a second to load up. Walmart We'll talk about that one another day because we haven't been taken out yet, but she doesn't look as good as she did a couple days ago. So bigger picture breaking out. I like the looks. I'm playing the breakout above this level for a push up to 85K or so. That's really all I'm looking for. But because we're breaking out there, I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. Could be really good. So I mark off the all-time high, which is this blue line, and I mark off my chart. I mark off what I'm looking for. And essentially I'm like, well, I do not want to take it or sell this thing into all-time highs. I want to sell before that. So it just so happened that the risk reward made sense to line it up where I risked the low of that breaking candle, and then about a push up to 73K would have been approximately a 2-to-1, ended up being a little bit less from where my entry was, which was a little bit higher. But either way, because the immediate spread, the spread is kind of is a decent spread. Look at this. The spread is like about like $100 almost. So it's not like nothing, but it's it's like $80. So, it's an $80 spread. So I immediately get filled at the ask, and then I'm immediately down, on the trade. So from where Bitcoin was trading, whatever. Either way, that aside, 73K psychological spot. I knew it was about $900 shy of the all-time high, give or take. So I'm like, that's a good spot. Let's take profits there. We ended up getting a push up to about 73.6. So it went $600 above where I ended up selling it, which is totally fine. And but then we kind of had this reaction, so we're rejecting off the area of all-time highs. Not surprising, but we could break that. If we do break that at some point, this could be a really good trade for continuation, hence why I like the weekly breakout trade as well. So that's really it. Not a lot of craziness on that. If we dive into, there was a 1-hour chart, which is interesting. I haven't traded very many 1-hour time frame setups. This one happened to be a great 1-hour time frame setup, and the second one in a row, believe it or not. So we'll add that to the list and, track it. So currently on the month, we are down $1,114.50. We have a 20% win rate, which is awful, but it is what it is. And a 1.54, which is getting better. This number it's going to be going up if I have any more winning trades, because on average, my winners are substantially larger than what this number depicts, because I just haven't had any winners really this month. So it's kind of skewed. Okay, overall, yeah. So what I want to talk about this really quick. This is topic for a different video, like a deeper topic, but I happened to stumble across, I was scrolling through some stuff, and I happened to stumble across someone who was talking about, in the trading space, their hesitancy to share red trades. And I think to myself, this is very interesting. And I think I kind of fell into it, but now I see this, I see it so much better. I see it so much clearer. Maybe the morning walks have helped. But these losing trades, first off, if you've been watching, you can go back on the recaps, you can see everything. So I show you that. Maybe your algorithm only shows you my red trades, or maybe it shows you only my green trades, or maybe you selectively want to look at only the red ones, or only the green ones, and say, oh, this guy sucks ass, fuck him. Maybe that's what you want to do. I don't know. But that's up to you. You can make that decision for yourself. They're all posted, and then I post a monthly recap. So, and I've been doing that for over a year now, and I can plan to continue to do that indefinitely. I think maybe at some point the reality will be to move towards just a monthly recap and not a individual trade by trade recap, but we'll see, where I just kind of recap the stats for the month. But I've been trading less and less, so I don't think it's as big of a deal. I think that's just fine. But I think there is a massive, massive opportunity in the space, the trading world, for a lot of what my mind has been what I've been trying to wrap my head around. And that's this concept, or this idea that you have a strategy that has proven itself at times, or you go through winning streaks, losing streaks, and when you some aspects of losing streaks are not something you can control. Now, obviously, you hit the buttons, right? But I fully accept when I take the trades that it could lose, as I think most people generally get to some degree to a point of, or at least maybe you do at some point in your career, or at least you tell yourself you do. But people are hesitant to share the losses because they're scared of the opinions, and I don't really care. You can say whatever you want. I'm not going to change my strategy because whatever some fucking guy said on the comments. I will change the strategy if I want to, based off the data, if I need to, based off the data that I get, and make adjustments from there. because that's what makes the most sense to me. My head is not the same as your head, so I see things different than you. You might trade the same breakout setups as me, but I have my take profits where I have mine because I see the charts the way I see the charts. You don't. You know what I'm saying? So that's totally fine. That's which makes trading amazing. It makes it such a cool thing, such a unique thing. But what's also unique is that there are not many people out there who I think are hitting on this concept or this idea where you have a strategy that works and it makes you money when it works. And then the strategy goes through periods where it doesn't work as well and it loses you money potentially. And as in the case of this month, this is what it's doing. And it's not like you're taking the exact same, or it's not like you're taking different trades. It's not like I am sabotaging myself by being a dumbass and moving my stops and taking huge losses and changing up my strategy. No, it's the same. I tell you right now, it is the same. And maybe there's some slight things that have changed over the course of the months, but it is pretty much the same thing. It's been the same thing the entire year. What I look for is the same thing, and I've used my data to guide me into the time frames I should trade and the symbols I should trade more because of my data. Like I stopped trading Apple as much because I knew Apple was bending me over. I'm like, I'm not going to trade Apple if it keeps screwing me over. Now that maybe changes, but that's kind of a big piece. And no one really talks about, because I believe there's a very small percentage of people who experience this, the mental side of this type of losing. It's not losing where I can go and say, oh, dude, yeah, 100%, I should not have done that. Oh, no, yeah, I should not have. No, it's because the same trade, if you were to go back to any of my green months, you would say, great, this setup was exactly what you took back during those months. Take it right now. It's a great setup. And then when that occurs enough times and it loses enough times, you mentally have to question, whoa, what the fuck am I doing? But I believe everyone at some point will experience this, or maybe experience it multiple times throughout their life. However, I think there's a massive gap in this being portrayed on social media. And that is what I'm trying to do when I have this opportunity. As of right now, like I have it, like I'm experiencing it. So I'm trying to explain it the best I can and how I am handling that mentally. Because it's not as simple as, oh yeah, just move your stop this way, or oh yeah, stop taking B+ setups, take A+ only. And it's like, no, I am taking good quality per what I've seen over the past 18 months of trading this exact strategy. I'm taking the same good quality setups. It's just they don't work the same way all the time. And I believe that a lot of people will experience that at some point, and that is what is the beginning to the spiral, where like this happens and then it starts to send them down, like they think they can handle it and they mentally can try to handle it for a period of time, and then they kind of start to slip, and then they take that, they over leverage, and then they move their stop, and then they kind of, and they start taking, a trade that they didn't actually have. It was not an A+ setup that they didn't really actually have to trade. That wasn't really there. And then the spiral begins, and next thing you know, it's too late. And I think that that's what ends up happening to a lot of people, but no one talks about it because A, it's embarrassing, and then B, I don't think there's a lot of people in the first place that are profitable or that actually have gotten to this phase. Because in the space, I think a lot of people, I think that we all know this, there's a lot of lying. There's some people who are really good, and my question to them, if I ever got to ask them, or when I get to ask people who have, in the space, which inevitably I will at some point, what did you do, you know what I mean, in these times? Like, how did you get inevitably when this happened, what did you do to get past it? I think that's how you will know if someone's bullshitting you or not, because it's not I just win all the time. No, you have times, like, the market does not work the same way indefinitely. If the market did, and some bullshit ICT or some fucking breakout or a trendline bounce or a VWAP bounce, all those stupid things, if it did and that strategy worked the same and it had the same probability every month and it had the same chance of winning, if that happened, the same things, if that happened, then the market wouldn't be the way the market is. So the market inevitably has to change. So you have to adapt to it to some degree. So that's the thing I wonder about a lot. And I think I'm trying to do a decent job of exposing that in my own results so you can see what it is actually like for someone who thinks they have a decent strategy. You know, the data tells me I do, but you go through these phases and you obviously got to manage your risk properly. So that's the situation, but we are on pace. I think this is going to be very close to one of my worst months of the year. Well, it's going to be up there with one of my worst. I'm not sure if it will be the worst. It's going to be close. So we'll see how that goes by the end of it. We only have a couple more days, so we'll see. But that is the recap for this guy, for Bitcoin. Happy to see a winner on the screen at some point. But yeah, we'll see what happens from here. And this is taken on a $25,000 account, which, by the way, I should mention this here too. This $25,000 account is not $25,000 anymore. It is $26,444. Why that's important is because when I hit 27,000, I pass the phase on the challenge. It's funny because what's happening was this. Go back a couple of months. This is the non-stock account. This is with one-of-one funding, which I talked about in a recent video, and then they got some fucking sketchy shit. This is a non-stock account. This account wasn't doing so well about 2-3 months ago, whereas my stock account was. I then was very close to getting funded on this account. I was above 27,000 briefly, unrealized. I did not take the gains because I was waiting for targets to hit. I wasn't just going to sell everything randomly. And then this account kind of went downhill, had a losing streak. But then in the stock account, I had a winning streak. So what I'm noticing is you kind of have this, like, there's phases where my strategy works really, really well in the stock market for a period of time. It tends to not outside the stock market. Crypto, metals, oil, and even indices, not as good, but individual stocks work pretty well. And then we kind of have the flip side. I'm starting to notice that again because while the stock trades have been kind of like, I can't get a single one to hit. Now all of a sudden we start making some money with crypto, and we almost had a good win. We almost had a winner on oil. Oil was 5 cents away from being at take profit. It ended up being a break even, but it's interesting. So this account, maybe it starts to pick up. I had a recent gold trade on here about a week ago that was a winner. So about a week and a half ago. So it's funny how that kind of works. At least that's what I'm noticing. So hope this is helpful. If it is, great. If it's not, you're probably not watching anyway. So TradeZella link below where I track everything. 10% off with code TC10. Save some money. I pay full price. See you in the next one. Peace.